Many of you guys might wonder, Dorian, why do you do cold calling instead of Facebook groups and messaging, Instagram DMs, emails, LinkedIn, Upwork, everything? Why? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I've tried cold calling and it's just not as efficient as all of the other methods. So why? Well, in this video, I'm gonna be explaining why I chose to kick off my agency with cold calling, and it is some very strategic reasonings that I think you guys will appreciate hearing if you haven't already thought about it from this perspective. So let's go. Now, I would say the number one reason why I chose to start off my agency with cold calling was to face my fears and build a resilient mindset. Now, this has got to be the most important aspect of, pretty much your business as getting started from that perspective. Because think about it, bro. When you cold call, it's just so much anxiety, so much nervousness. You're telling yourself a million reasons as to why you shouldn't make that phone call. As, what if they hang up on me? I have no value to provide. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just starting my business. They're probably not gonna hear me out. This is not a good idea. You should just not pick up the phone. You should just not make these calls. And you got all of this stuff that your mind is trying to tell you in order to talk you out of taking that first and that major step of your business, which is picking up and doing the outreach. That's one thing that stumps most people. We do all of these things and we can't do the outreach. And not only that, it takes courage to pick up the phone and call. But when you pick up the phone and you start to make those cold calls and you get more comfortable, you realize that it's really nothing to be afraid of on the phone, especially. What is it? The most they could do is hang up on you or get mad and tell you to stop calling them. And then that's it. And you survived. It's not like they're gonna harm you on the phone, bro. You're just a business owner, kicking it off the ground, getting everything started. And everybody that ever started anything was once in this position. And it's just a rite of passage. It's something you gotta go through. And with you not doing that, and with you being afraid to start, you're only holding yourself back. Nobody else is getting affected by that except for you. And so that's one of those things that cold call help you do, is to face the fear and get outside of your comfort zone. Be more resilient when people are telling you no. It helps you work out the kinks, figure out your offer better. You get a response instantly versus maybe an email. You got to send it, wait a couple days, or wait a few thousand emails to get a response to tell you something that you should tweak. And so that's my strategic reasoning number one behind it, is you can go ahead and face it straight on. And see, once you start getting acquainted with cold calling, communication is just easier. Like when I go into the store or something, it's easier for me to get in a flow with speaking and socializing and all these other activities when I pick up the phone, because that's one of those things that clears out your social anxiety, clears out, what do I say? If they say this or if they say that? You just learn how to have a flow and how to have the conversation from not being too salesy and getting better at that. And if you can cold call, you can do any other part of the business. I see this is something that a lot of people are afraid of. One, because outreaching is one of the hardest parts to start for SMMA. And two, cold calling is one of the hardest methods to dive into because of being afraid. And it takes a little bit to get used to it if you don't have that resilient mindset, if you're still trying to build it and still not used to stepping outside of your comfort zone. But I'm telling you, it just makes you a lot more confident, it makes you a lot more comfortable and relaxed once you do that with your communication. Because if you don't, and you subject yourself only to being on the sales calls through, like, let's say you do only email outreach, right? Then the only time you get to really refine your communication in live timing is on the sales calls when you take with prospects. So that's less chances that you have, and you got to be on point, and that puts pressure on you. Now, this might change. My mindset around this might change once I read like maybe a lot of sales books and marketing that I'm about to start reading and getting into to up my skills and my offer. I might see it as cold calling as a waste of time. I might see email outreach or messaging and running ads to get inbound leads a better way. way. But as of now, I see communication and cold calling as probably one of the best methods for me in this very position right now at this moment. But like I said, it could change, because maybe it's all about being more strategic and more intuitive and planning your time down. And even if you didn't want to be on sales calls, you could outsource that as well, and you wouldn't have to worry about the communication part of that. But that's even more money and more clients that you will have to get in order to be able to take yourself out of that part of the business. And it's like, to even get to that point, you still got to be involved with it. You still got to take the sales calls. And also, I feel like you got to be a really big character in order to take yourself out of the forefront of your business. It's kind of like, you know how if you see an ad or you see somebody that you really look up to, and they drop a course or they drop some type of program, and when you get in there, they have the people working under them, and it's not them. It feels a lot less personal. It feels like this ain't really what you signed up for. You know, it's still from them. It's still what they built and constructed, but you thought you was going to be able to talk to them. You thought you was going to be able to pick some of their brain and share some of your thoughts and let them critique and whatnot. And so think about how the business owner feels when you're not in that part of your business. And I see why a lot of people that scale really high still choose to be the forefront and the face and interactive in the sales call part, because I mean, think about it. That's really all you would have to do. It helps you keep your communication skills on point. You get to talk with people. You get to find out and make friendships, make relationships outside of business, and learn about more people, what they like, what they don't like, and literally how you can solve and help change their lives. You find out their concerns, their pain points. And it's a lot more connection instead of just simply a transaction inside of the sales calls. And that's just, you know, what that is. That's kind of off on another side, on another tangent. But saying that is to say that in order to be good at that, this is where you got to have a lot of role play and a lot of stuff to make up for the fact that you're not getting that live communication training if you don't cold call. Okay, so I think at least everybody should do a little bit a day to start the outreach, just to break the fear, you know, just to get that resilience, at least incorporate it a little bit. Call random businesses that you don't even work with, you know, pitch them, say something, you know, call them and say, oh, I might have the wrong number, and hang up. That's what I got from Maurice Gear, cold calling on YouTube. That's one of the methods he said. If you're scared, call them, tell them you got the wrong number. Oh, I'm sorry, I called the wrong number. And then they'll be like, okay, it's all good, hang up. You know, you got to step your way, you got to ease your way into it, but nonetheless, you got to do it, man. It has to be done. And the thing about me, the reason that I do cold calling for certain is that what I like to do, and this is my third point, I like to go away from what most people do. Okay, you want to see what the 99% is doing, and you want to do the complete opposite of that. And shout out to Montel Gordon where you can understand it. But yeah, like that, like what most people are doing, you see where they're at. You see what type of lifestyle they have, what type of income they have, net worth, mindset, all of that. And unless you want to be like them, then you don't want to share any traits other than the fact that you're a human being. You don't want to live the same way as them, think, eat, walk, talk, shower the same, read the same as them. You don't want to put your clothes on the same way as them. You want to put your clothes on the opposite way. You want to step into your shirt, into the collar, and then pull the shirt up. You don't want to put it over your head, because that's what most people do. No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, like on a serious note, even SMMA owners, you know, most people came on this side of life from the consumer side, from the rat race, because they wanted to build a life for themselves. They wanted to do what other people are afraid to do. And you're close, but you're so far if you're letting something like cold calling stop you from growing and, you know, really expanding outside of your comfort zone. If you can't do that, how do you say you're an entrepreneur or a business owner and you're taking risk and you're not afraid to take control of your life, this and that, but you can't pick up the phone and call somebody, you know? So I feel like it's really just psychological. It's really a deeper meaning that sometimes people don't realize. And like I said, even if you just do 10 calls a day, it'll warm you up. You'll start to feel a lot better, a lot more confident in ability to express yourself. Now, I've taken a step back from cold calling to build up my business and get a different software set up. But once I get it going again, I'm gonna definitely drop more videos on cold calling, because I see you guys like that. And once I just get more ins and outs of the business, I'm gonna give y'all a lot more tips and, you know, mindset, perspectives, things that you can implement into your business to make it be as successful as possible. So Hopefully you guys took something from that. I know it was a lot more mindset related than just simply picking up the phone and dialing. And you know, this is what I tend to think about things like. I don't want to say, oh, I think about everything this deep and it's all underlying causes and meanings and reasonings, because I wouldn't be telling you the truth. Not everything is this deep, but some things are. You gotta have mindset shifts. You gotta shift your perspective in order to make your thoughts serve you in a way that's most beneficial, to get work done, to be progressive, to be productive, because this is what all the greats do. Lately, I've been studying the great, well, not lately, I've been studying the greats for a long time, but if you study anybody that's great at anything in their career or in their path of life, anywhere, it don't matter. Basketball, the best pen seller, the best balloon popper, it don't matter. Anything. What they do is they formulate their thoughts and they formulate their mind in a way of something to help it benefit them the most, even if it might be a little crazy. Like, think for example, Michael Jordan. He told himself, and you can see this in Netflix documentary The Last Dance, he made up stories in his head that people was talking about him, or that people would be down on him, or they was gonna beat him or take away his record, you know, take the championship this year or that year. And he made up these fake stories and rivalries to give himself that competitive, that mental edge. Because once you got that mental edge, nothing is stopping you. I'm telling you, once you got control of your mind, your thoughts, it's a go. All you got to do is put it in place and start acting on it. That's it. Mindset is really the hardest part. And so when you can have those paradigm shifts and formulate your thoughts in such a way, like cold calling, to be relentless, to get more comfortable in sales, to face your fears, then you can start going to that next level, guys. Start using things like that to serve you and not take away from you, okay? I don't want to make this video too long, so I appreciate you guys for watching. I do have a question for you though. What's the most uncomfortable thing that you guys had to do thus far in your life to get to that next level in business or in life? Let us know in the comments so we can all see and get some inspiration on what we got to do to step outside our comfort zone and go to that next level, man. And if you don't have anything to share, then that should tell you something. You need to take control of your fear and stop being afraid to step outside your comfort zone. It's no judgment there, because I know we all been there, but it's some work that needs to be done. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching this. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, and we gone.